Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. So welcome to my living room. This is what it looks like. There's a lot more stuff in it. I did tidy up a little bit before I started. I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't always look this clean. I wanted to change things up a little bit, and I feel like maybe the sound might come out a little bit better in this room than in my office room because it's smaller and there's a lot more echo coming from that room. But let's go ahead and get started, everyone. Alright guys, so today I wanted to make a video about what are my biggest takeaways of 2021. But before I get started, I obviously need to do a little bit of cleaning up in here and talk about a few things that I left you off on last week. And last week I mentioned that I had a winter concert, and I want to talk about this winter concert to then go into the actual meat of the video, because this is actually a good segue to what we need to talk about. So for my concert, everything went so well and I had a lot of fun and the kids loved it, and I'll show you a clip right here. So yeah, it was so much fun. The kids loved it. I had a lot of fun, and the staff that was helping me, they also had a lot of fun, and they were all very helpful. So just to make a really long story short, the concert required help from everyone else, because in that concert we had about 400 or something students, because they weren't just my students, but they also were my co-worker students. So right now I currently have about like 450-ish, and my co-worker also has about the same amount. And in February, we're just going to switch students, and I'm going to have the other half of the students, and he's going to have the other half of my students. So during the concert, let me just tell you, the day of the concert, so much happened. Like, everything that could have gone wrong kind of went wrong, but everything was kind of resolved. It started literally when I first woke up. I got a weird text message, and it was crazy, but things got resolved. That's a good thing. And it's funny, at the beginning of the day, we thought that the concert was going to be total trash because everyone was all over the place. The kids were crying. It was crazy. One of the craziest rehearsals I've ever had in my life. And on the concert, things actually turned out to go well. The kids were super happy and they performed their music, and the parents were really happy. I even got emails from parents saying that they were thankful and that they loved the work that we did with the kids, and they thought that it was amazing. And just to like reflect on the concert a little bit, I know I didn't give much detail about it because I kind of can't, and it also gets really complicated with the story, but one of the biggest things that I can say is that this concert was definitely an eye-opener for me, and it definitely made me appreciate the aspects of education that you don't regularly see. So as you guys know, I graduated in 2020, which was mid-COVID, and I never really had a chance to actually teach in a classroom and be in a classroom and deal with everything and also put a concert together. So this was actually my first concert. So at the end of the concert, I was actually running around like a headless chicken because I had to obviously pick up my things and put them in my car, because in the elementary school that I teach in, we weren't able to hold our concert at that place because of the space. So we had to do everything in the middle school, which was a bigger hassle. And it was actually great that we did it at the middle school, except that at the end of the night, I had to spend an extra 40 minutes just picking up my stuff and putting it in my car. And I wasn't even able to go to my school to drop the things off. And I ended up going to my house with all of my instruments and all of the things that I needed. And I had to put everything away the next day. So my concert was on a Thursday, and when I came back to work on Friday, I finally was able to experience the feelings that teachers talk about. And it's hard for me to explain, but usually when teachers do their job and they're very proud of the work that they do, they normally get this weird gut feeling. It's hard for me to explain, but it's the joy of knowing that something went right and the gratitude of the other people. So when I came back to work on that Friday, everybody was so happy and everyone was so proud. I got thank you letters from my principal and vice principal. All of the teachers were super proud, and they made me feel so good. And I'm not gonna lie, that is why music teachers do their job. That is why you continue doing what you're doing. And I understand the feelings, because after that concert ended, this was actually a weird feeling, but I genuinely felt a lot of happiness, a lot of excitement. And for a good moment, I was actually questioning a lot of the things that I've said or that I've, mentioned. But in reality, if I really think about what I've done in my job and the things that I go through, this was the one moment that I actually felt true happiness and satisfaction for my job. And the reason why I want to bring this up is because it was a great moment, but I realized that the year and a half that I've been working for schools as a teacher or a long-term sub, I've only experienced true happiness after the concert. And the emails that I received also made me feel really good. And I feel like that says a lot about education and teachers. Again, this is my opinion, and everyone else feels happiness and enjoys things in different ways. But personally, I feel like I cannot be in a job where I am literally angry or annoyed or just straight up disappointed 85% of the times, and I only feel good about my job 15% of the times. And this concert was definitely one of the highlights of my entire teaching career. Like, it just felt amazing. And again, the school that I work in, they haven't had a concert in about 2-3 years. So this is actually a big deal. So on top of that, a lot of people showed up and they were very supportive. And yes, it feels good, but obviously, like, we make a lot of decisions based on emotions. And if I really think about and really consider everything that I've gone through and everything that I've done, I only felt happiness for that one moment, and that says a lot, like I mentioned, which is why I am still very happy that I am going to start school and go into a completely different field. But again, I'm not really going to get into details until I finally see progress in that, and until I'm possibly done with it. It's going to be actually a short program that I'm doing. And again, I'll talk more about it once I'm done with it, or probably towards the end of it. But I'm not going to lie, I loved performing. I loved doing the winter concert. I loved everything about putting that concert together, and the kids and the parents and my coworkers. That was amazing. And I am so grateful that everyone helped and how everything came out. But to put things into perspective, like I said, I am genuinely not happy at my job about 85% of the times. I can say possibly 95% of the times. And I only feel true happiness when I'm doing something like this, or when I'm teaching something that's really hard and I see the students understand. It's kind of like that basic feeling that teachers get when their students finally understand something that they've been working on for so long. I mean, obviously, everyone feels satisfaction from working really hard, trying to teach someone something, and then they finally understand. You can't take that away from anyone. That's a feeling that you can only get as a teacher, and it's wonderful. But again, education is not something that I really want to pursue, and I genuinely enjoy teaching people privately, and I enjoy performance sometimes when I want to do it, not when I'm forced to, or when my grade depends on it. That's all I'm going to say. So getting into the actual meat of the video, my biggest takeaway for 2021 is realizing that you don't have to push so hard in life. And this is genuinely coming from someone who was always running around trying to get things done. I had a long to-do list every single day, and I would try to get all of my tasks done. I'm talking about, I'm someone who had 3 jobs in college. I went to college full time, and I was genuinely just running around back and forth while I was in college. Right now, I'm still running around like a crazy person, and my biggest thing is I'm always trying to work. I'm always trying to get work done. I'm always pushing really hard. And in 2021, I learned that pushing so hard doesn't really get you anywhere. And no matter how much effort you put into something, you might not like it at the end of the day. I actually used to dance when I was 11, and then I got into singing, I think, when I was 11 or 12. And I studied music all my life. Well, from the moment that I was like in middle school, high school, and I felt like I didn't know what else to do because that's the only thing that I've done. I've only done music and music and music. And I know I'm good at other things because I excelled at different subjects like science and math, but I never thought of taking any other way besides music. And to me, music was everything. And when I went to college, I pushed so hard and I went through a lot. That's all I'm going to say, because I have a whole video about not liking college and how I didn't really have a good experience, but I did push a lot. I pushed myself. I pushed other people around me. I drove the teachers and a lot of the people close to me. I either like drove them insane or I pushed them away because of how hard I was pushing. Like in my head, I was thinking that I can't live my life unless I am successful. I can't enjoy myself unless I'm successful. I can't treat myself unless I get the work done. And that's just a mentality that I've had always growing up. I never like to sit down and enjoy myself if I have other things that I need to do, which is one of the problems why I can't really work-life balance very well, because a lot of times pausing and doing something fun and then coming back to it is the wiser thing to do. But sometimes I feel like I can't go on to something else until I am finished doing what I started. Oh my God! The reason why I learned to not push so hard this year is because after everything with college and, getting my first job and working in a school and then getting a second job and then working in this job and me just pushing my expectations onto other people, because honestly, the root of disappointment is just expectation. And I learned that I can't impose my beliefs and my expectations on other people. And unfortunately, that's something that I feel like I'm always going to do because I have a very strong personality, but I try not to. And a lot of times with education, you have to tone yourself down and kind of just blend with the other people, even though they're not at the same level as you are, which is kind of annoying, right? Because when I went into education, the metaphor that I kept thinking about was me walking into a room with a candle and someone just dumping a cup of water on it. And that's kind of how I felt going into teaching and education in a public school. Because like I said, I love teaching privately. I worked in a studio for 4 years, and those were some of the best times of my life, work-wise. But when it comes to work in a public school, things get a little bit more complicated, and you can't just do what you want. You have a lot more restrictions, and any expectations that you might have when you come in, you definitely need to lower that. And I unfortunately had to learn that the hard way from me realizing it and from other people, except that when other people were telling me that my expectations were too high, I felt very disappointed at the people that I was talking to, because in my head, I'm thinking, why would I lower my expectations when you clearly need to bring up your expectations? And it was hard for me to really understand that. And I feel like sometimes you can either work with something or you can just leave. And unfortunately, I am choosing to leave. And that's because I feel like now I have a different mindset than I had before. Obviously, I am a little bit more financially stable than I was when I started education and when I went into college. And I am definitely in a different mindset than I was 5-7 years ago when I started college. And I thought that I was going to be a teacher and all that. So yeah, just to expand on it, don't push too hard. Don't work yourself to the ground, because remember, it is not the end, it is the climb. If you don't enjoy the climb, that means that you're not going to enjoy the price. And that's something that I learned this year. And you would think that I would have learned it last year, but last year was a year for me to test the waters, and I didn't really get a full chance to really see everything and feel everything until now. And I learned that I pushed so hard, and I pushed myself and other people so hard to get to where I wanted to get to my goal. And I'm here. I made it, guys. Like, I made it. I have the job. I finished the thing, and I'm the successful person, but I don't feel good about it. I feel like I wasted my time, and this is why I feel like sometimes pushing too hard doesn't work. There's a difference between wanting to do something and then having to take over a difficult task and pushing yourself to get that task done, and pushing yourself because you want to get from point A to point B. But I never realized that working so hard to get to the goal and not enjoying that climb will lead to me being unhappy with what I have. So I want to put this out there so that other people can learn from my mistakes, because I also learn from other people's mistakes. And I think this is something that it's worth sharing. And if anyone else is on the same boat, please share it with me. Please, because I don't want to feel like I'm the only fish in the sea, people. So I'm just going to end it with, don't force yourself to get into education or just to go to college if you don't want to. I did want to go to college, but just don't force yourself. And if you don't feel it, don't do it. If you're feeling it, then yeah, try it. And if you don't like it, don't be afraid to say no or to just quit. Because honestly, I think one of the most toxic mindsets is to think that you always have to grind and that you always have to work and push yourself all the time. But sometimes it is okay to give up. Sometimes it is okay to stop what you're doing, reflect, and then change course of action. Because if you just push yourself to get something done, you're going to get it done. But at what cost? All right, everybody, thank you so much for clicking and watching this video. You guys are awesome and you are amazing. Like I said, I am going to continue posting videos every 2 weeks instead of every week until further notice, because I have school, homework, and work, and I have to keep my beautiful place organized. And remember, guys, that by watching this video and interacting with this video or any of the videos in my channel, you are supporting me and this wonderful channel. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, people. Also, don't forget to follow me on my Twitter and Instagram. All right, everybody? I'll see you guys later. Bye.